Right. Good evening, all. My name is Adam Duval. I am the mental health warrior, and tonight I am joined by the fantastic, please forgive me if I say this wrong, Dorota Chioma.
That's pretty correct.
I got it in one.
Yeah.
Now, we all want to know self-care. How important is it? So obviously, with my experience, because this is all I ever do is talk about my experience. We've all got our different strategies. We've all got our different system. But we're here to talk about Dorota. And she has experienced many challenges in her life. And all I've got to say is welcome, Dorota.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. How are you?
Challenged. Challenges are still present in my life. Working full time remotely with a toddler screaming her head off is not fun at all. So it is challenging, and the longer it's lasting, the worse all of us is feeling. So let's hope it finishes soon.
Yeah. We're hearing all sorts of different answers from different people, so we just don't know when it's going to end, or what's going on. People saying it's going to be weeks, could be days, it could be years. We just do not know. We just do not know.
And this is the worst, isn't it? Because when you wait for something and you know when this something should happen, then you mentally cross the day after day, and day after day you are closer to the goal. With this pandemic, you have no goal, you have no date, you don't know how long and how much more you need to endure. So for that reason, it has huge impact on mental health. All of us, including even little ones. I have a toddler, and believe me, she is going absolutely nuts because she has no peer contact, she has no attention she should have, but I'm working full time, so and looking after her at the same time, so she doesn't have proper attention, she doesn't have stimulation, you can't take her to a play group, it's like, and I can go on and go on. So even little ones experiencing horrendous emotions that they don't know how to deal with. So imagine adults are going through similar thing. Maybe a year, 2 years ago, you would not dream about going out to a coffee shop and have a coffee with a friend, because it would be like, well, I'm doing it like twice a week, what's a big deal? Nowadays, I'm craving to go to a coffee shop with a friend, and give someone a hug. So it is really challenging. And how are you?
I am doing better. I say I'm more coping with this lockdown than I was with the first. Now, obviously, I can admit right now, I've had my struggles, I've had my down days, but with the first lockdown, I really did struggle in the first 2 weeks, because obviously it was actually just a week. Days after my birthday, we actually went into lockdown. I think about 3 or 4 days after. So obviously, with my birthday coming up very soon, I just have not made any plans whatsoever. And hello to everyone that's tuning in tonight. Leah, Maria, Rose, welcome. Hope you're well. And it's all about keeping together through all of this, what's going on. But definitely self-care is massive. I don't even know the words.
Yeah, I think it's crucial. It's absolutely crucial. Yeah. But the self-care from the aspect of looking after your body, is crucial, of course. But nowadays, mental self-care, finding the balance within you, and something that really, really, makes you happy. I can't find another word, although word happy is so, cliche. But really finding something that gives you a little bit of joy, because we are living in times that are so dark and so unpredictable. And like you said, we can't even plan. We can't plan even for tomorrow, because we don't know what else will be enforced on us tomorrow.
Exactly.
Exactly. So the self-care needs to be really associated with your mental being, because not every physical thing is possible, right? You can go for a run, but if you like to run with someone who is not in the same bubble, now this is out of the picture, isn't it? So, there are so many aspects nowadays that are pressing, on our buttons and make us miserable. So, my self-care is associated with art. And it's now, such a big chunk of my life. I now can't imagine living without my art. And daily, I need to perform some artistic, creative activity, or I feel physically unwell. But it wasn't like that for all my life. I was perceived as a gifted child because I could draw above average. However, I was not allowed to go to the art school for many reasons. Money, the perception that I will end up as a junkie. We are talking about 30 years ago. So I decided that if I can't be schooled in it, then I'm not doing it because I'm not good enough. So I was not doing any proper art other than crafts with my children, and a little of crafty tasks with my students, because I work in education. And I was suppressing the urges, it was like pushing it, without realizing that, that this is my thing, and the depression hit me when I was in puberty. Probably it was all linked with my dreams not coming true and situations I was in then. And had to choose different path. I chose the path that wasn't making me any happier than I was, more miserable, really. Then got married, got pregnant, and then first postnatal depression hit. However, because my relationship wasn't too happy and too good, everybody was saying that it's because of it I am a bit down. And anyway, hormones in woman's body, it's normal, it's just baby blue. But it wasn't really. And then I got pregnant with the second child. The depression hit even harder. My little one had certain troubles with health. So then all medical staff was saying, look, no wonder you are stressed. Your little child is a bit unwell. I had a bit of complications. So, it's normal to feel that way. So it gone unnoticed. And then many years later, through each, I went through many traumas. My relationship was really rocky, toxic. So there was some violence involved, and then separation and financial struggles, living in a foreign country because I'm not English, on my own with two growing up boys was really, really a huge challenge. So I was up and down, at some point I was on medication. Later, I had to stop taking it because of side effects and whatsoever. And then when I got my life a bit straighter, got better job and stuff like that, I met a new partner. I'm in a happy, loving relationship. We decided to have one last go in our lives, because we are in a certain age that, you shouldn't consider any more children. We decided, let's have our child. So I did get pregnant pretty quickly. All pregnancy was fine. But when I gave birth, I had to have cesarean because the baby was breached. It was medical negligence, but I can't prove it. That you can't fight with a system that is against you. They left a bit of placenta in me. So in day 8 after giving birth, I hemorrhaged and was rushed to hospital, had operation and 2 transfusions, and we didn't know if I will pull through. And from that moment, you know, it's like it's really the issue that when you are in the kind of situation that you think that you may die, that you see certain images in your, you know, in front of your eyes, and I was petrified that if I don't make it through, I will never see my boys, because they were then at on the holidays.
Yeah.
But it started, you know, my mental health started to decline really, really badly from the moment of that trauma. I bonded with my baby to the extent that I couldn't perform normal tasks. So, you know, leaving my baby unattended was the anxiety hitting the rooftop. So I couldn't even take shower or do normal tasks, feed myself, because I was so petrified that I would lose her, because I almost died, that I couldn't part from her. But this time round, my depression was recognized, and I was referred to talking therapy. And that time round, I found a wonderful therapist through the charity called Mum's Aid. And everything was fine until I had to return to work. As the main breadwinner, I had to leave my 6-month-old baby and go to full-time work. This meant that I saw my baby an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening. And although my baby was looked after my partner, who is very loving, and, you know, I trusted him and whatsoever, I just couldn't understand it. I felt like I'm a mother on the birth certificate only, because this is not being a mom, seeing your little baby an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening. So I lasted at work 5 weeks. And at the end of those 5th week, I almost deliberately drove into the tree, because I just couldn't take it. There was a big traffic, and it was, you know, my little time that I supposed to spend with her before she goes to sleep was shrinking and shrinking, and I just lost control. And when I realized what is happening, I managed to stop myself and then called my partner and said, look, I can't do it. I just can't do it. So I was signed off work, you know, offered more counseling, but this counseling soon had to finish. You know how it is, you have certain allowance per patient, and when it finishes, you know, it's very difficult to get another one. So because my therapist wasn't too happy to leave me unattended, she said, look, join that art sessions with the same charity, because at least then you have once a week contact with moms like you who have similar issues and whatsoever. I was very skeptic, but I went there. For the first few sessions, I was just splashing, you know, very dark blots on a piece of paper. But, you know, I noticed that after each session, I feel a bit better, you know, that it's like something is lifted from my shoulders. And I could attend with my baby. This was another, you know, good aspect, that I didn't feel guilty that I am taking time away from her, because she could be even on my lap when I was playing with inks or paints. And in a few weeks, something happened to me. I physically felt like something is opening up in me, and the first image with colors emerged. And from that day, I started to enjoy it. You know, I started to feel release and relief, you know, when attending those sessions. So the facilitator was saying, look, you're doing so brilliantly. Do it at home, you know. Take a piece of paper or notebook and start, you know, even doodling, whatever you want, just do it daily for 10 minutes. And I started. So from that moment, it was March 2019, I started to do art daily, to the extent that, you know, it started to pour like crazy. You know, I started to paint bigger pieces, and I started to really express my emotions. And here I am. This is something that makes me so happy, so relaxed. This is the only moment, by the way, when I can tune out completely. I am anti-meditation. I can't, you know, do meditation and switch off my chatter in the brain. But when I do art, I can be engaged for hours and hours, and I don't know that they are passing. So, you know, the self-care from the aspect of finding something that gives you joy, the joy that it's, you know, it's so strong that when you're engaged in it, you feel alive. This is the real mental health self-care.
Wow. That's all I can say is wow. I'm glad you're here today. I really am. And I can speak for people that's commenting from the likes of Tanaz Asefi, the Rainbow Warrior World. Like I'll actually put the comment up. There you go. Wonderful to hear your story, Dorota. Well done. And yeah, we've all got a story, and yours just fascinates. And I hope this inspires people just to find you, and yeah, and that person could go for a cup of coffee with you at some point.
Exactly. Yeah, we should do that together. Yeah, it's really amazing because it's like finding yourself. I was lost for almost all my life. The suppression of my urges, because I was creative inside, but I was not executing that creativity, was pushing me even lower and lower and lower. Plus the trauma and challenges of life were just making me feel like I'm in a trap, and there is I didn't feel a sense of being alive. Because,
you're in a self you're in a self is fighting to get out.
Exactly. But now when any challenge is thrown at me, I just take it out on the paper. I even refer to it that I trap demons on the paper. So I had recently in October, I had my first solo exhibition called Mental Health in Pictures. But of course, guess my luck. Another lockdown. So my exhibition was shut after a week.
Exactly.
And it was just traumatizing, thinking that I put so much work and so much effort and really, really wanted it to be amazing and lasting and whatsoever. Although I was expecting some, troubles, and I couldn't have a proper private view because of the certain coronavirus safety measures already. I knew that it will not be the way I always dreamed about. But people were even asking me, why are you doing it now? Why don't you wait? But like you said, we don't know how long we will be in that lockdown and pandemic and whatsoever. And anyway, mental health has never been more important than now, because so many people are affected now.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I actually seen an article on LinkedIn just I think it was a couple of months ago, and it's stated that coronavirus, I know people's got their own views on coronavirus and stuff like that. Obviously, I'll save that for another day. I do have my own, but we'll wait for that. That has become the biggest threat to mental health since World War II.
Yes, and I'm not surprised, because it's not easy, and it's even harder on those that already have mental health issues or had mental health issues prior to COVID. Because imagine if they struggled then, imagine how hard it is for them when the normal support networks, support groups, services are no longer available. It's not the same to go to the therapist and speak face to face, and not the same to have a Zoom session. It's taking this humanity away from it, which is very crucial for us humans to have contact. So, the pandemic is just awful on all of us. And that is why I exhibited anyway, because I said, look, people need to see it, because I'm sure they can resonate with my art, and they will find some value in it. However, when it has been closed, I was like, what now? My mom couldn't come. My mom lives in Poland because of her age, and restrictions. Of course, I didn't want to risk it. And my best mate has underlying conditions, and she couldn't risk it either. So I'm thinking, the most important people, except my children and my partner, can't be here. So what should I do? How should I do it, to get it to them? And I was thinking I could, record a video, but then I'm thinking my mom is not a very video person, It's technology is a bit tricky for her. So she will not enjoy it. So then I decided I'm publishing it in a book. So I have published a book, Mental Health in Pictures.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and all the art pieces that I exhibited are in that book, with narratives and some poems that I wrote that accompany them. And I was told that it's, first of all, a quite unique idea I had, because artists don't often publish books with their exhibition. But I was also told that the pictures, the artwork helped so many to visualize what it means to have mental health issues, how it must feel to have anxiety and panic attack, how it must feel to feel so alone. So I think that, my art helps people to, those who don't know how mental health issues may feel, to familiarize themselves with the context. But those who do suffer, it is suiting to them because of familiarity.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And with that mental health pictures book, where can people actually find that?
They can find it on Amazon. It's available in 7 different countries, in UK including, and you can search by my name or by the title, or we could put a link on YouTube
Yes.
underneath somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. And yes, you practically made a transformation, and I class you as another mental health warrior also, with the trauma you have experienced. I wouldn't say suffer, I'd say more experienced and lived, because suffer, that's just more of a label. And obviously with me, I don't agree with labels. I don't. But yeah, it's massive that you've made that transformation, and all I've got to do is salute you for that. But obviously, it's like, what's next for Dorota?
Well, I'm working for on another book. That is my early journey in art therapy. So some images I created then, and some poems and narratives that I wrote to accompany. But there is also a book that is coming in a few days. This is a book for children called The Land of Eternal Hands. And it's about 2 cats having a conversation about getting old and passing away. And why I have created that book, because there was another huge challenge that hit me very strong in the first lockdown. Just before the first lockdown was enforced, my dad was diagnosed with very aggressive cancer. And and unfortunately, he passed away when we were in lockdown and borders were closed. So I couldn't say my goodbyes. And you can imagine that grief is awful. We underestimate grief before we have to leave it. And when an adult suffers and is in turmoil because of the sorrow, while there are children, like I have 2 teenagers and a toddler, and they lost their granddad, right? They suffer too. They are in grief, but I am in my own sorrow. So I am not really able to, to really talk with them about this loss, because I'm very emotional. To the extent, by the way, that my toddler, the first sentence ever spoken by her, it was "Mommy's crying." So hello, my luck. But I wrote that book because it's a tribute to my dad. It's a rhymed dialogue between a black cat, who is old and wise, and his little brother, whose fur is ginger, and who asks many questions, because black is changing his fur. His fur is becoming very silver and whitish. So he's like asking what's going on. So he's asking many questions, and the black cat is trying to answer it the best he can. So it takes you through the journey of the cycle of life, that we are getting old, getting weaker, and one day we pass away. But it doesn't finish too bad. It finished with affirmation of life, really. So the kind of aspect of it is live your life because it needs to be lived, it needs to be experienced, and the present is important. So build your memories, because those memories will be the comfort for you when someone loved one passes away. So this is going to be on Amazon well, pretty soon. Maybe it's even now, because I haven't checked my email, so I don't know. It might be already available.
but yeah, you're totally right there. People do pass, but the memories do live on. And like just Wednesday it was. Obviously my uncle passed away on Tuesday. I don't know how he passed away, but my kids saw me in tears. Like obviously Tuesday I was in that in denial phase, which that is normal where you get into that in denial. But it really hit me Wednesday. And obviously my kids came to me and asked if I was okay. I couldn't answer. So I'm glad my partner was there to talk to them and go from there.
Yeah, it's very difficult, because there are topics the same like mental health, suicide, bereavement. There are topics that are very difficult, and very difficult for youngsters because they are so abstract, aren't they? You can't touch mental health. You can't show them what mental health is. It's even so difficult to be defined. There are so many definitions, that science is arguing which one is the correct one, isn't it? So, finding a resource in a form of book with illustrations is a kind of conversation opener. And the same, I think that my art on mental health, it's a great conversation opener to help people understand how it is to live with a mental health illness and how we deal with aspects of it. Because words only, talking about something, sometimes it's a bit threatening, because words are also abstract, aren't they? But if I show you, for example, one of my picture that illustrates the anxiety attack, that way.
Yeah, that way, but yeah, I see it. Yeah.
And then, you have some visual stimulus that we can talk about, and not even necessarily we need to talk about anxiety. We can just talk about the picture first to make us feel, a bit relaxed, and say about the colors, about, the texture, whatever. And this leads you slowly to me telling you, that this is the vision and the, visualization, I should say, of the feelings that I had when I had panic attacks. And then we can have a nice conversation. So, we underestimate art. And this what makes me really, really angry, is that art is cut from curriculum in schools so much that it's hardly existent anymore. Why is so important? Because all those expressions via creative ways, via music, via art, via dance, they are extremely important. Because this is something that you can make and explain the abstract matters. And there is so much around us that it's so abstract, that we need to have channels to express it. So the self-care, really, mental self-care, is about you finding that channel that helps you to get the things that worry you, your fears, your trauma, whatever it might be, out of your system. And if you want to keep it in your, cupboard, fine. You don't need, like me, to show it to the world. But you need to do something for yourself only. So I talk about me time. But the me time, although beautiful term, it's nowadays understood that I am taking a bath. I'm sorry, taking a bath is necessity because it's a hygiene aspect. So it's not me time really for me, because I must do it anyway. So I'm talking about me time that is really for me, because I want to do it, because I love doing it, because it gives me the tranquility and mental health state in which I can function. So Absolutely. This is what I call self-care.
Yeah, and you know what? You bang on the money there. You bang on the money. But obviously we'll finish it up because we've got a few minutes left. If you've got one piece of advice for someone when it comes to self-care, what would it be?
Make time. Don't say that you don't have time. You can make time. Sometimes it can be few minutes that will change your whole day and perception of that whole day. And it's crucial. You need to execute self-care every day. The same, you eat your meal, or you take a shower, or brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Make time.
Absolutely. And when you get up, I know I'll be doing a live video at some point, because obviously there is a lot of people that do struggle to get out of bed due to their mental health. So I will be personally doing a live video from the bed itself to encourage people to get up. But admit, I actually came across a great person. I can't remember the name now, but see as this: you get up, you make that bed. Don't see it as a chore. See it as see it as a successful thing you've done. See, it's success.
Well,
making your bed.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like, I am a person of to-do lists. I have tasks, and no matter how small they are, I put them on my list. Even sometimes it's mental list, sometimes it's a real written list. But I'm putting there not a huge task like I will publish book today. No, today I will write 2 pages, and I will paint for half an hour, and I will read 2 chapters from a book that I want to read, and make it very achievable, very small. Even if you will have many aspects on this to-do list, if they are small, you tick them, tick, 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 very quickly, and it makes you feel, oh my God, I did so much, and I did everything from my list. Because when it's achievable, you can do it. So it's about setting your little goals, little steps every day, and make sure that on that list is something for you only, something that you enjoy and you breathe thanks to it.
Yeah, because once you get started, you'll be thinking, yeah, fair enough, I've done one job, so it's like, when's this going to end? But then when you carry on and carry on and carry on, you'll look at it and you'll think, I've done them all, because time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, it
Exactly.
does, exactly. And there are aspects of self-care that you can, because nowadays, let's face it, we have children, we homeschool, we have toddlers, babies, and whatsoever. There are aspects of certain self-care that you could do alongside your children. So sometimes when I paint, my little one paints as well. Yes, she's messy. Yes, believe me, my house is a mess then, and I need to put her in the shower afterwards. But at least I have these 5 minutes when I can focus, and she's enjoying herself too. So there are aspects of self-care that you can, if you meditate, why not introduce your children to meditation? It doesn't matter that they will not do it properly, but they will learn from it, and you will form their habits. We need to teach our children to self-care.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, at some point this year, there is actually, because every year I always look for awareness weeks or awareness months. I do that every year. And there is actually Children's Gardening Week coming up.
Wow.
So,
I didn't know that.
So take your kids, go into your garden, but don't see it as a garden. See it as a canvas, a blank canvas, and then plan what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, brilliant idea. Yeah, and children love playing with toys.
But on that note, thank you for coming on, Dorota. You've been an absolute star, and you've got a smashing story. And this video does need sharing to get that out there.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, are you there? I think she's crashed, guys. But yeah, this is how it is. Keep going, don't stop, and we've all got a story. So let's get our stories heard. Oh, and there you go. Right. So on that note, I'm going to end this broadcast and keep going.
Thank you so much.
Keep sharing with your goals. On that note, bye for now.